Hello, everybody, and welcome, Patreon.
Hi, Patreon.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We just played an awesome game with April Stiletto, freaking killer character.
Yes.
And
Not
really
killer.
the name
Yeah.
is so funny. Everyone on our Patreon probably knows us, but they might not know you. So just give a little spiel about you. If anyone's watching at a later time, we always want to make sure that you get the promotion that you deserve because you're lovely.
So April Hill, you can find me at stiletto_assassin on Instagram, StilettoDM on Twitter, and I post stuff about miniature painting and hype up my friend and voice acting, and I'm a community manager for Modipius, channel organizer for the Initiative Order.
You do so
Love
much.
playing on all different kinds of channels and with everybody, and
Ran
yeah.
an amazing series with Fallout, so I'm still.
I need to bring my Fallout series back. I need to bring that back. Yeah, we finished that. I'm going to start doing mini series of it. I'm taking a little bit of a break because Fallout can be very, very heavy because it's it's dark humor, but it can be very heavy. So I'm taking a little bit of a break, taking a breather. But yeah,
so much awesome stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time I've ever seen a Fallout RPG. That was my first time, and I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
I really miss it. We had a lot of fun. I miss my players. I miss seeing them every week. It's so sad when you see people like weekly and then all of a sudden you
Your
don't see
schedule's
them.
wonky and then you don't see them anymore. I get that.
Yeah, I imagine it's especially difficult with people who are also streamers and like organizing that time. Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun when we got to do Jasper. Well, I mean, with Alicia and Utaime and like Jasper's game day, I did that game with them, and I was like, I haven't played with you guys in so long. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm still trying to schedule with Alicia. It's been months. Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, well, it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, the two of them are super busy. That's why I was like,
busy. We stand.
So today you played with us, and you're lovely. So thank you so much.
yeah, it was great. I've been wanting to forever, and then this opportunity came out, and I was like, yes, I get to play with you guys.
Yay! So I tasked the players in this game to make not necessarily evil characters, but definitely characters that are going to be the villains of our campaign too. At least some of them. Some of the villains, not some of the people. All of these people are going to show up at least once in our game. But there's probably going to be more villains. I don't want you to write everything for me. But I really, really enjoyed all of your guys' characters. They were scary and strong and smart and so charismatic, and that's dangerous.
Perfect recipe for a villain.
Yeah. So many great.
But we did a jailbreak. We gave you guys. Who's we? Me. I put you guys in a jail, and you guys had to break out, and you guys stayed basically in one floor of the jail the whole game. That prison actually has 9 floors. And because of course the constraints of a one shot, I'm not gonna force you to go through more and stay up till 2 a.m. or whatever, but as it's almost 2 a.m. for Hero.
I know some of us are already doing that,
but imagine 8 more floors. So I was like, all right, it's over. I expected personally, I expected a lot more sleuthing, sneaking and going out, but you guys should have known. You talked for the first half of the game, and then
I said that before we streamed. I was just like, it's gonna be 4 hours of roleplay.
100%.
I built you guys in a jail specifically that was they basically even said it twice. They're like, y'all talk too much. It was not gonna be me this time.
But as soon as you give us
having a
room.
roleplay heavy group. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah.
It's just funny because I keep doing it. I keep over preparing these large encounters, and we did 10% of the one shot, and I was like, we did it! You guys are out now! It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Jen, when would you ever over prepare?
I don't know.
You mean you may or may not have a podcast with that exact name, but you know.
Who's that? But it's funny because I always think, I'm like, what if today is the day that they don't roleplay? And like,
I don't
they
think
want me
you're
to
ever
prepare,
gonna
and
have
then
that.
that is
It's
the
not
that is the
gonna
one day
happen.
that I didn't prepare like
That's-
9 floors worth of a jail. You know what I mean? Like, it can happen. Sometimes we can all just have a day where we don't feel chatty, and you just want to progress the story. And I know that you're like, that's not going to be an issue. And at the end of the day, it might not ever be an issue, but it might be an issue once, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, the good news is that like the other 90% of this one shot you can recycle.
That's true,
those
and
kinds of
I
things.
always have plans
So-
for things like that. If I write something out or plan anything, and if we don't get to it, I'm gonna use it at some point in the future for something else that is entirely unrelated.
Yeah, there are
We
like
just
8 more
turned
jails.
We're just going to turn the prison into a shrine and place of
Or a
worship
fortress.
for Chinwei, and that should be
Yeah, sure.
and then we're all just going to be priests and priestesses at the prison.
The jail
And-
prison. I mean, the church prison.
I mean,
The church jail. Jail.
Church jail.
Okay,
Yeah.
The jail for church.
Super church.
Shinwei is Joel Osteen, okay?
Yikes.
I'm
So,
kidding. But that'd be so bad.
in the world that you guys should be playing, well, the continent that you guys are going to be playing on, where do you like? Obviously, minus April. Where do you guys imagine your evil person may end up? We have like the old ways, of course, of the orc clans in the West, and that's kind of an obvious placement, in my opinion, for a character. But you've also kind of crafted a character that is kind of not an immediate threat. It is the parent of the immediate threat. So that's super interesting too.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do, and cat's out of the bag, I guess, through this lovely conversation, is give you options, because I know that orcs don't generally live long. And so I was like, well, I want it potentially to be a situation where the group has to face off against Karnix, who is Brooke's progeny, but potentially also Brooke could be like, well, I'm coming out of retirement to fuck these guys up because they're fucking with my kid. They stole our axes. Like, I wanted to give you like options, and I was like, well, it would be interesting to me if that scenario triggered, or it'd be interesting to me if it's like a situation where like Karnix wants to honor Brooke, who has passed away, by getting these axes back, or like, you know, like just having all sorts of options. So
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I really kind of was I was kind of crafting Brooke more as a pivot point to give you options as to how that would go. Because, and I said this over a break, I was like, I didn't expect the axes to even be there with her.
Yeah.
I expected that we had a short conversation where I was like, would she have them just for my placement, not necessarily for use?
I said probably not in that conversation, I think. So.
Yep. And so I pivoted from having Brooke be a barbarian warlock to being a barbarian rogue to compensate. Because I was like, well, if she no longer has that connection, there's no point for her being a warlock. So I will have like the psionic energy, like power vacuum be what she gets instead.
Right.
And so at the end of the thing, I was like, well, then Brooke is going to give the axes to Karnix because she now has this, and she doesn't believe she has that pact with Loth anymore. So I thought that was very interesting.
Definitely. That's super cool. I love that. And I have ideas, so I'm excited.
I have no idea where Chain Hands is going to end up. He, I imagine, is about as ADHD as I am, and he'll just fucking go wherever the fun is. Like, whatever he finds fun, he could end up there.
I have an idea for Chain Hands, and it's kind of like a one-shot type of setting, but it could easily land into like a 6 type episode arc thing that as it always goes with this group of role players.
Yes, 100% easily. Like
That's
easily.
He's
really
for sure
excited.
like a thrill hunter. So
Yeah.
what were you gonna
I'm
say?
really excited for Pond to come back and be like, who the fuck are all these people?
What's happening
Like-
here?
It's the guy, Pond. Who?
Yeah. That one guy. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No, and
Uh,
Sharon's. I would see Sharon totally sticking around with Chain Hands. It seems like a good matchup, and
yeah.
Chain Hands fills a huge gap where Sharon's sneakier and stealthier, and Chain Hands is
Chain
big,
Hands is also
intimidating
sneaky.
dude.
Chain Hands is sneaky as well.
Which is great for crimes. I mean,
We're crime buddies.
do
That'd be
wrestles,
really-
do crimes.
That's a scary combo too.
Yeah.
You want to go do crimes in the garage? Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Yup. Yeah. I mean,
Uh.
the rogue and the fighter. It's a good wombo combo. Yeah.
For sure. Especially with the powers that you guys have.
Yeah. 100%.
Suspicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can totally see this like relieving your soul being like scary.
It's a scary power. This was.
It's so scary.
Yeah, it was all last minute. It is a terrifying power. And you capture, if somebody dies within 30 feet of you, you can capture their soul into a trinket that appears in your hand or wherever.
What is this class?
So it's the
Phantom Rogue.
Phantom Rogue.
I have never ever had this.
I
I've
almost
never
did.
played a Phantom Rogue.
I
Did you?
almost picked it too. Yeah, I almost picked it for Brooke,
That's
and I
really
was like,
cool.
let me do Soul Knife because I liked Soul Knife with 21, but I didn't really use it nearly as much for that. So let me try it now here more. So
Yeah,
That's super cool.
I was gonna be an artificer, and I was just going back and forth with Jen. I was like
No
artificer.
creating, no crafting, no
I was
crafting.
like, I could craft this and this and this, and I was like, but I'm in a prison and we kind of talked about this a little on break. In my headcanon, I had been at this prison for a long time. I had been in prison, I had been here, so I'd kind of built up, a collection of things, and I think that was, other people, some thoughts as well. So it was just
Well, that was one of the settings that I considered too, having you guys in cells all in the same block, and then you guys maybe had relationships, or a multiple of you guys brought the idea to me to hey, I have this following, or I have this blank. I'm like, but you just got there
Yeah.
in my head. So I even at that point I was like, maybe I should do the cell block. And at the end of the day, I don't think the one shot would have been much different if I put you guys in 6 different rooms versus one room together. So you still would have just been talking for
yeah,
the
no,
game.
yes,
in
100%.
a good way.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I eventually I was
it would
just
have led to a lot of NPCs talking to you from the other cells and things like that, and it would have just been a role play game. Yeah. So I was like, no,
we
we
would have
can't
been in there the entire time.
Yes. We never would have
Just
The
escaped.
talking.
epilogue, they got out somehow. The end.
Yep.
the end.
I guess they left. I don't know.
How did they escape? Yeah.
mysteriously escaped.
Yeah.
I also talked about this on the break. I had anticipated that as well. So I had thought up kind of his fame had kind of preceded him into jail, and that's how he ended up with the fur, and that's how he ended up with all these cigars in jail. And I had imagined that he would just kind of sit at the edge of his cell, and the guy next to him would just kind of be rubbing his back, and there's a lot of yes sir, I right away sir, even from some of the guards, and I was still able to sprinkle that in a little bit,
Yeah.
how'd you know that was gonna be there? I don't know.
Reason.
I thought somebody would put something in here for me, and they did, so I don't know.
Yeah. Essentially,
I-
you just conjured it from nothing, but
Sprinkled story in there. It was that nobody else knew.
And I had asked Jen ahead of time. I was like, "Is it fine if I'm smoking cigars and I have this fur coat?" And she was like, well, I'm just worried that like maybe like you could use that like as a tool. And I was like, well, you said that we're gonna be like in clothing, like we're provided clothes like in jail, so I don't know how that would be too much different from like a rough spun tunic. And she was like, okay, fair enough. And I was like, and I won't use it for anything stupid. So
I chain the cigars.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, please don't give a cigar to someone else.
Don't do
First thing, you want a
You
cigar?
want a scar?
I'm dead. At least for Chinwe, I think that should probably be really close to the Bloodsea. I just wanted to use as much of the lore that was given, like when we were preparing this campaign, and shove it into characters.
No, I love that. I love
So-
that. And you've been doing that every time, and I love it. It's so helpful.
It's good lore.
It is good lore. Thank
So
you.
the best thing I can do is just like help anchor it like a little bit more. And
I love
also
that.
it's a really fun thing because it's like, is she actually or is she not? I personally don't know. But
Mhm.
like
I didn't tell you on purpose.
yeah, so we won't know. We'll be like,
She's
she's
actually a goddess.
she's a heretic, or no, she's actually a god. We don't know, and that's pretty cool too. I think that's really excited, and also I just think that cults are really fun.
Cults
Yeah.
are
Fun,
fun.
kids.
Cults are
Just
super fun.
Cults are fun.
Leader of
in
all
Valkyrie
types.
2222. But yeah, I just think that they're like, it's just a villain. I think that because all of us had really cool villain archetypes, so like, or quote unquote villains. I like the ones that are like, it's not necessarily like, I'm out to do evil things because I'm so evil.
Right.
They're just say like thrill seekers or like hunters or like a family person that just happens to be pretty violent, or in like
Yeah.
Shinwe's case, just legit thinks that she's a goddess and like, you
and
know,
has
it's-
followers as such, and is essentially a cult leader. Like,
so
Well, at
they
least
just
the-
make it more compelling.
yeah.
What?
I was
Well,
going to say she's a cult leader, and then I was like, well, I don't know if she would be the leader, more so the revel.
Figurehead.
Yeah, the figurehead of this.
I left that
of this
purposely
cult.
open as well, because
Yeah, which would be super cool.
yeah.
I imagine Killer actually like could really come up at any point, but I imagine it would be like at a social event, because the two times that I've met Killer, she's been very like sensual and chatty, and I imagine it'd be some sort of like, I need to get information from somebody, so here I am. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no. I based this character off of a character from basically from Firefly, which I also had a villain in my vault show based off of this character as well. So yeah, she and also there was a Netflix. Well, no, it wasn't Netflix. Oh, I watched it on Netflix, but there was this other show where this character, that's what her job was. She seduced a high profile target, took them for everything that they were worth, and then disappeared after she got what she wanted from them. So that's kind of like I kind of evolved that around building this character. So yeah,
That's really
He-
cool.
she uses her talents to get what she wants, and then she leaves.
See, that's so interesting.
One time
because-
it backfired on her.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Please
So-
tell us about this one time.
Oh yeah, I'd have to pull up the character name, but yeah. So she ended up kind of falling for one of her marks, and she got a little distracted, and the mark actually took something from her, one of her prized possessions, and ran off. Yeah, and
Love that.
never forgotten that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm angry. I'm angry, like knowing about it. It's not me. It's my character.
The interesting thing about Killer is that I feel like she could be anywhere.
Mhm.
Like she could
Yeah.
be anywhere. She could be an assassin. She could be like a monk, assassin, craziness. I can't even imagine. Like
Yeah. How I
the fact
had
that you
written her too,
evaded
the
fire,
sky
39
pit
points of fire in one. You just didn't get any of that. That's craziness.
That is great.
Monks, man, monks.
I am
Yeah,
the fire.
I love evasion. I think that if Sparrow had taken one more level in Rogue, his character also would have had evasion.
Yep.
I could be wrong. I don't remember if it's 3 or 5.
Did
That
you get evasion for rogue?
yeah,
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
but
Looking right now.
but
Level 7. Level 7.
level 7.
Ah,
Oh
even
damn.
higher.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
would have had to. I would
Never
have had
mind.
to flip them, and that
Yeah.
wasn't worth it to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, this was super fun. I had a fun time. Thank
Yeah.
you
I
guys
did
for
as well.
playing the game. And thank you,
Thank you for
Patreon,
running it,
right?
Vibing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Oh,
Thank you.
And thank you to all our lovely patrons who are getting to see this this fun behind the scenes thing that we get to do for all of you.
This is so cool.
I think this is a blast because we get to talk a little bit more about the characters that otherwise I would just imagine when I'm in the shower and I'm like, what was their deal, huh? What was going on with them?
And it would stay in the shower.
yeah.
Now you get to
Yeah.
enjoy it. Not the shower, but the,
Or stay in the
Also
like
the shower.
in the like 4-paragraph message that I send Jen like a couple hours
Yes.
before.
I love that. I love that though. I love that you guys all think about your all of you message me paragraphs. So never feel bad about it. Like it's so fun. I love that you guys think about things in depth. It makes me really happy because it makes me feel like I'm not the only one working on the game. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just doing this thing and then you guys are
It's
just showing
our
up.
game.
It's like, yeah, it's our
Yeah.
game. All right, time to go.
Okay.
Man, I wish I had video editing skills just with like the
All right.
On that note.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, patrons.
Bye.